Hello and welcome to the Footy Philosophy Podcast. I'm Kevin, kitless Kevin today, joined with Brendan, who's got the Athletic Club kit on. Looks pretty clean. It's pretty clean.
Goats. I actually ruined this jersey. I'm really heartbroken about it. I left it in the wash too long in not my washer, and it ruined the back. And I literally cried. I
Oh,
cried because
jeez.
I love this kit. It was one of my. It's like top 5 for me.
Yeah, no,
As you know, I'm a huge Athletic Club fan. Huge,
yeah,
second favorite club, without even a shadow of a doubt. It's
yeah.
kind of why I hype up Nico Williams so much, because that's my guy. Actually, I was thinking about getting the white one this year and getting Nico on the back, so I have both Williams brothers. It's probably what I'm going to ask for my birthday.
You should do it. You should do
I
it.
get one birthday present a year, and it's always a jersey. And honestly, Kev, my jersey collection's insane. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Do you want to see it right now? Do a quick
Yeah, let's
one,
do it.
just
Let's
since I
do
have
it.
it on the phone. All right, I'm taking my headset off, so don't talk. Some of them are really crap, though. Like, some of them I've ruined, but some of them aren't that nice. So, let me flip this camera real quick, actually. Oh my god, how do I flip? Oh, there we go. So, this isn't my normal plot. So, whatever. I don't know why it's not flipping. I'll cut this up. So I got Ozil. I got Alaba. I'm gonna clip my freaking thing. I'm just gonna cut this anyway. So, I got Tony. I got Isco, and there's one with it too. I got Ozil. This one's clean. This is one of my favorite jerseys. I've had them all the time. Here's a Royce jersey. That is right. Front. I didn't used to take care of my jerseys that much. A Bale one with whales. You're gonna hate one of the ones coming up. I think it's Cristiano, another cruise one. You're gonna hate this one, the next one. Ronaldo, Portugal. It's the only Ronaldo jersey.
Jeez.
This one you're gonna hate. Ozil, right? Clean. That was my guy. Ramos. I got this one at the Burnabout. This one's clean. I got a Leipzig right here. I'm just gonna take a while. I got a Fede Valverde one with the thing. Pretty clean stuff there. I got Asensio with Spain back when I used to fuck with him. I don't. He's a fucking loser. And one of my favorites right here. I got their practice game. Pretty clean. And I got Griezmann friends right here because I love Antoine Griezmann. I got the American Hero Clint. And then Ramos for Spain, the black ones, which are clean. Here's a Ronaldo one. This was actually my little brother gave to me. I think it's another Ronaldo that my little brother gave to me. Bale, this one's mine for sure. I'm already tired. Vinny Jr., 25. Clean as can be. Look, Asensio, this one's long sleeve with the black and blue. And then I have an Isco with the black and blue with short sleeve. I love that black and blue kit. So, the bum, Eden Hazard, we should probably talk about his kit. Apologies, long one. Modric with the Croatia kit. Pretty clean there, World Cup. My friend from Spain got this for me. The second kit for, I think it was the Euro. And then here's a Luka kit. I had to get it with the 10. I got that one at a Real Madrid official store. My fiance got me this one, which is pretty. Obviously, as you can see, the fly everyone's came off already. And then here's a Marcelo go left back for me. Andy Carvajal. Look at this, still going. Crazy. And now the Real Madrid practice game. This one's cool. And then this one's one of my favorites. The Alonso with the B win. Okay. And then I have some Dom right here. This is Dom jersey. I'll go back. The Odegaard one I wore, I think last one. Then I got this Bale one, which I'm pretty sure I've worn. This one's one of my favorites. So I got this one in San Sebastian. David Silva. That was clean. Look at that. I got Brazil. Got this one for Christmas. It's a Benedict jersey. Pretty cool. I would have come in the one on the store, but I don't know. There's one that this year. Pretty nice. I wore the Saka one.
she cooks. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's a
I hope that was not too long, but
no,
definitely worth a
that's a
look.
crazy collection, man.
It's way too big, and I don't know how much is in there, but we're talking thousands of dollars that I've seen
Yeah,
in kits. So
no,
yeah, but we're
definitely.
doing good. We're doing good. This is the only one I've technically ruined myself. The other ones I was pretty stupid with, to say the least.
Yeah, no, that's pretty impressive, honestly. Um, Trying to think of a creative transition, but I cannot. Let's just dive right in.
Signings, yeah,
Yeah,
signings, transfers, yeah, like all those kits.
yes. Um, we're gonna start with Spurs hijacking Barcelona's what they thought transfer, Lucas Bergvall. He's a highly rated Swedish midfielder. He just turned 18 the other day. He'll be joining Spurs in the summer. I'm gonna try. I'm trying to find out a lot about this guy. It's tough because he's relatively new on the scene and he's also playing in the Swedish Premier Division. I'm not going to try to pronounce the Swedish Premier Division's actual name, but
Or the
um,
club he plays for.
yeah, it's really tough. But he's sort of like this hybrid 8-10 that we've grown accustomed to seeing over the last few seasons. He's going to be an 8, but with the way Postecoglou plays, he's more so a 10, probably in that right half space, which is good because Madison likes the left. So, you know, we saw Postecoglou try this. We'll be talking about it in a few minutes against Brentford, and it works really well. But I'm happy, and I just Spurs are starting to get some massive pull. This kid wants to come play for us instead of Barca. I think that's pretty cool. Um, and then sort of a fallen wonder kid, Gio Reyna. He's going out to Nottingham Forest, or he has gone to Nottingham Forest on a loan. The question is, can he finally be appreciated somewhere? I think this is a good level for him, maybe even under level potentially. Um, but just want to see him get some playing time, and Forest need him because they've had a lack of goals and goal creating this season.
Yeah, and just a quick note on Gio Reyna is that he still has what it takes to actually be a top talent. Um, the most talented American. We'll actually talk about another American coming up for Celta Vigo, but this is a good move for him. He wasn't really appreciated at Dortmund um, by the current coach, but past coaches have rated him, and I've seen a lot of Dortmund fans on the internet very upset about the way he's been treated. I don't know if they're American fans that have become Dortmund fans or what, but they're pretty not happy about this move.
Yeah, he's never gotten the chance to really display himself, um, even at the club level. He's someone that could have been a pretty good Sancho replacement, but just hasn't gotten the chance. Um, Armando Broja goes on loan to Fulham. I like this personally. I don't really get it from the Chelsea perspective, but for Broja and Fulham, I get it completely. Fulham have been looking for a physical 9 to replace Mitrovic. Raul Jimenez just isn't really the same player, unfortunately. So I like this for the rest of the season. Um,
And if he plays 10 matches, he gets. I think they don't owe Chelsea a fee or something like that. If he starts 10 games, they don't owe Chelsea a fee or something like that. It's something weird like that.
that is
Um,
interesting.
if he doesn't, then he doesn't. Then they owe Chelsea a fee. So, which seems counterintuitive to me, but
Yeah. No, that's strange. Um, Pablo Fornals has made his way to Real Betis, as well as Chimi Avila. You wrote this one down. I don't really know who that is. I'm going to
I
be honest with you.
love him, bro. He's such a punk ass bitch, though. He's just this guy. He played for Osasuna. Um, he's one of the better strikers in La Liga, in my opinion. Probably like one of the easily top 10. And he's someone that causes havoc. He presses hard. He runs hard. He gives his all every single time, and he really gets under defenders' skin. And I think it's an upgrade on Borja Iglesias, but that's just me. I'm not a Borja Iglesias fan.
Yeah, I mean, I get that completely. To be honest with you, um, Carlos Alcaraz is going on loan to Juve. I believe they have the option to make it permanent, or perhaps it is it's going to be permanent in the summer. This guy's sort of like a mini Julian Alvarez. He's coming in from Southampton, who obviously dropped down to the championship. He's like sort of a shadow striker. You could play him as a nine, maybe off the wing.
They play
So
with two strikers too. They play a
yeah,
3-5-2, so it works out.
so that's good. He'll be a bit like a Lautaro Martinez, coming from Argentina. So I think that's an exciting transfer and one to keep our eyes on. Enes Unal to Bournemouth. I don't know why I kind of put a Spanish pronunciation on it, but I know that
He's
you,
Turkish.
yeah,
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 he's someone that I've actually always liked watching. I've always thought he was a class player. He's not really your typical nine. He's not going to go to Bournemouth and help them score goals. But if he's someone that plays off Solanka, he will. I think he'll make Solanka better, and I think he's someone that may take the Prem by storm. If played correctly, and with Iriola there, I kind of expect him to be played correctly and to be successful just because, they have that Spanish link. He's someone that he saw a lot of in Spain.
yeah. So would you consider him more of a creator then? Is that what you're kind of saying?
Kind of an SS in my opinion.
Okay, yeah,
But like he's not like a Paulo Dybala SS, if you know what I mean.
yeah. No, I get it. Um, Gabriela Paulista has gone to Atletico. I
You want to know why that happened? Because Peter Lim didn't want to pay him his automatic renewal.
uh, well, that makes
Sounds
perfect
like them.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds like them.
I also wanted to mention real quick. This is sort of like you get a lot of these types of loans. But Chelsea loanee David Datro Fofana, a young Ivorian striker, has scored 2 goals and assisted one in 2 games off the bench. It's under 60 minutes he's played for Burnley since he's come in, and his 2 goals actually salvaged the point for Burnley against Fulham. This is just one to keep your eye on. It's you kind of see a guy go on loan like this, and it just reminds you of other Chelsea, prospects that came and went, like a De Bruyne or a Salah. I'm not saying he's gonna be like them, but just definitely want to keep your eye on. 3 goal contributions in 60 minutes is pretty good.
Well, and something just to add to that is just what's happening with the rule about loanees. I thought they were trying to put something in place to stop a team like Chelsea who just love to hoard players and send them out on loan. Um,
I know.
do you have any information on that? Because I know there was a lot of talk, and I'm sure you know that there's been a lot of talk, but I never have seen anything concrete come from that.
Yeah, no, Chelsea and their loan army. Yeah. I haven't seen anything concrete either, but I did hear about that as well. I'm not sure if it'll be for the 24-25 season. Obviously, it's not in effect right now. Or maybe Chelsea are abiding by the rules. It's probably something that we should fact check, but
I don't think they are because the rules. I think it's like if you have anyone like 23 or over, you're only allowed like 3 loans, and anything below that, you're allowed to loan as many as you want. Is what the rule's supposed to be, but it's not in effect right now. For sure.
well then that makes sense. Yeah, that's something that I like that rule personally. So I hope that it actually gets enforced.
And something before we even move on, something interesting to note about Enes now is that he hasn't really played this year for Getafe, despite um, someone like me liking him. It's mostly because Mason Greenwood and Borja Mayoral are both having very good years at Getafe. So, and 25 million for a guy that's only played, I think it was like 3 matches this season. Um, pretty incredible, actually, when you think about it.
Yeah, no, that
And with
that is.
the Turkish national team, he has 2 assists in 2022, 2023, and it looks like he's only played 4 games with them, so pretty solid.
Yeah. Well, talking about Premier League, let's go there. Start with the midweek. Obviously, many Premier League teams, or in fact, all of them, played 2 games this week. So thought it best starting the midweek. Kicking off with Luton smashing Brighton 4-0. There was an Elijah Adebayo hat trick. Um, you know, typically you see these sorts of results for Brighton, and you're like, oh, they just got unlucky, because you know that they create a lot of chances, but don't tend to finish them. This game was not like this. The XG that I saw was 3.2 to 0.9. Further, Luton had 8 shots on goal to Brighton's 2. And the momentum bar was clearly in Luton's favor. So, they gave Brighton a good old whooping. We'll see later on that Luton are just really in good form, to be honest. They've truly found their
Especially at
feet.
home.
Yeah. They're making that place a fortress. And now I think we have to beg the question, is it time to get a little worried about Brighton? We'll see in a few minutes. It's more of just a consistency problem, but
I've been worried about Brighton, and I've made that quite clear on this podcast that I think that they are very overhyped, and sometimes they do things so well, and then other times they just don't. And it's a consistency issue, which is why I just don't really rate them that highly right now. I like them more in past years. Let's just put it that way. And maybe I
yeah,
like them more in past years because the level that was expected of them was lower than the level that's expected of them now. But um, I do I do like a lot of their players, and like Evan Ferguson and Matoma, and Gross or Grobs or however you say his name, Pascal. But either way, just it's this is what Brighton does. You know what I mean? Like they buy players that are young, they make them better, they develop them, and then they move them on, and then they replace.
yeah, yeah. They're probably not ready to be a perennial, Europa League competitor, so to speak.
And probably never will be.
Yeah, probably not. You'd love to see some sort of like Moneyball model get some long term success, but football just doesn't really work.
You can't compete with, let's just, if we talk about Real Madrid for a second, who gets a $70 million shirt deal to go right here, every season. How can a Brighton ever compete with that?
Yeah, let alone oil money. Um,
For
speak.
those of them that don't make
Yeah,
their money organically.
yeah. Speaking of oil money, earlier this week, Newcastle beat Aston Villa 3-1 in a game that Newcastle really dominated. I believe earlier this season it was the other way around. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but um, the XG is 1.4 to 2.6, so it's like, okay, 3-1 result, probably
Fair.
fair. Maybe does Villa a little hard. But no, Villa really could not get anything going. And Newcastle especially deadly on the counter, which has sort of been bubbling back up to the surface. Um, in the last week or so, 2 weeks as they've gotten healthier. Um, oh yes, that reminds me. Sorry, there's so many games to keep track of. I did not like Unai Emery's starting lineup. I thought Leon Bailey should have started. In a game that is going to be highly transitional because it's Newcastle, you need pace, and there was none there on the flanks, and I don't know. I just didn't appreciate that. Let me say that. Um,
I didn't see anything from this game in general, to be honest, but it's just the tale of 2 games from Newcastle.
yeah, for sure. And that's sort of the first time it's happened on this podcast. Where we've had, we can compare and contrast 2 games like right against one another. So it is kind of interesting to see, like we'll see with Spurs and Liverpool and Arsenal in a second. Um, Well, there you go. Spurs did beat Brentford 3-2 earlier this week. I don't even know where to start with this game. Um, Brentford scored first, and Neil Maupay takes the absolute piss. He does the Madison Dart celebration, and it clearly got under the Spurs players' skin. Which Maupay's gotten a reputation for doing so. He's one of those guys that does get under, the opponent's skin. So if he's on your team, you love him, but opponents dislike him, and I was ready to kill him. And I didn't realize that Brentford do play like a really muddy, negative game. I always just associated them with like, yeah, a counterattacking system, but they started time wasting in like the 20th minute. It was brutal. And so we get into halftime. It's still 1-0 Brentford. Pasacaglu makes some really good changes, which I think this is really the first instance we've seen some truly like, apart from just the game plan, but in game tactic. Um, Pasacaglu does that 2-10 thing that I was talking about earlier. He brings on Brennan Johnson, which allows Kulusevski to play in the right half space as the 10 sort of guy. So he's got Kulusevski and Madison. And they scored 3 goals in 8 minutes. And it really worked out. Um, Brentford are playing a back five, so adding more numbers up there. Pretty simple in hindsight, obviously. But that's probably about all I want to say about this game. The XG was 3 to 1.59, so Spurs, it's not like they got lucky. Moving on, unless you have anything.
No, I didn't get to watch the midweek games
Yeah.
for EPL because I was focused on the La Liga games for midweek. So
Yeah.
that's where my attention went.
Fair
So I
enough.
don't have much to add about these games specifically.
Yeah, it's completely fine. Well, there Liverpool 4-1 Chelsea. I'm gonna go to this last bullet point here. This isn't really a big game at this stage for me. I know I'm gonna take off a lot of Chelsea fans, and that's kind of my intention. But did you expect Chelsea to get a result? Did you expect Chelsea to get a result from this? No.
No, anyone that did going maybe if Chelsea was at home, which we'll get to in a second. But Liverpool is the much better team at this point. I think Liverpool's in first and
Yep.
Chelsea's in 12th, 11th, 10th. I don't really. They're
I
mid
think
table.
they're I think they're in
Um,
11th. Yeah, which
okay,
is
either way, mid table. So
the
would you expect the team in first to drop points to a mid table team at home in any league? Probably not.
yeah, and that's exactly what happened. Connor Bradley has 1 goal and 2 assists in this game, which
Should have probably started at the weekend, to be quite
yes,
honest.
yes.
Trent was quite poor.
He was man on fire in this Chelsea game. Obviously, 3 goal contributions puts them over the edge in a 4-1 game. Let's do the math real quick on that. Um, Chelsea had nothing for Liverpool's press. They would win the ball back, not even get it out of their own half, and Liverpool would have the ball back again. Like it was just over and over on repeat.
And another game where, it was a tale of two teams for Liverpool. Much better in the midweek than they were on the weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Which I guess no. Let's talk about Wolves Man United real quick first. 3-4. Um, United get the win here in a really topsy turvy game. They almost blew it to a goal lead twice. Um,
I don't think United deserved 3 points on the day. Let's just put it that way. I did key in on this game
yeah,
because I saw how it was evolving.
United had a really, really good first half. Like you can tell even from just watching like the minimal highlights that the EPL does. United were just peppering Wolves. So I think I disagree with you just a little bit. United were in the first half, especially they could have scored more. Um, this game could have been like 7-5, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's United, so what do you
Yeah.
expect?
Um, what was really the key thing for me in the first half was Diego Dallo overloading on the right side. Um, if they can find ways to keep him in advanced positions and, not really play a right back, but more of like a supplementary right winger, I really like that going forward. I've always liked Dallo as an attacking fullback. Obviously, not the greatest defender, but he has a switch. He plays. Oh, yes. He switches the ball over to Rashford, and that scores their first goal in the 5th minute. Also, let's mention the main headline. Kobe Manu's goal. I don't know if you saw it, but it was really good. He gets the ball about 25-ish yards out, and he beats 1, 2, and then 3, and slots home from just inside the 18. I want to say, really good finish. And like we'll reiterate in just a second, but him and Casemiro can be the answer in this midfield. Um, they may have finally cracked the double pivot question.
Also, though, you should go recheck that attacking momentum bar on the Wolves Man United game. Honestly, like, I think Wolves, like,
Let me
this is
see.
my opinion. Just recheck it. I just want you to recheck it. Because the first half, Man United was def better, and the second half, Wolves was def better, and I watched the second half. Because I saw how it was going, and I
Yeah.
think that Wolves' momentum bar is a tad higher in the second half than United's is in the first half.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Just my opinion, and this is just I didn't watch the first half, so that's why someone like me who was like, oh, I thought Man United didn't deserve 3 points in this game, is real easy for me to say when you look at the momentum bar. Because when you said that, I was like, I got a second, like maybe I'm wrong. Let me go check check my eye test, right? My eye test said that United was getting worked in the second half,
Yeah,
and
they were.
but Kobe Mano gets that goal at the death. Just only United, right? Like Ten Hag continues to like scrape points,
Yeah.
and it ain't gonna last. Let's just put it that way.
No, and the one thing I will say, slightly off topic, but Kobe Manu is just someone that I'm really excited about. You know, kind of stinks that he's at United, and not to like just hate on United, but just in a toxic environment. you know, it could be anywhere. If it were Man City, I'd be saying it. But it's not. It's just Man United, and he's someone I'm really excited about. I don't know. He's only 18, dude.
Yeah,
Um,
I think he's a little overhyped right now. Just because United fans are talking, how they are. Oh
yeah,
man, like gonna be the best DM in the world, blah blah blah. And, like we see so many of these guys flop, i.e. Hannibal. But off the Kobe Manu talk is, I think Rasmus Haaland deserves some flowers today because he's actually been in great form, and a lot of people are talking about him as a flop. I wasn't ready to go there. He's a young kid who this is only his second season in top five football. Um, but yeah, I think he's got like 3 goals and assists in the last 2 games or something like that.
well, he
So
scored.
he's been better.
He scored one and assisted one in this Wolves game.
Okay, well my math might be right there.
Yeah. No, in his last 4 games he's scored, so for sure he's finding his feet. Which I guess we can use to transition to the weekend where Hoyland did score, but we'll get to that in just a second. Starting off with the first game on Saturday, Everton 2, Tottenham 2. Um, Everton outplayed Spurs pretty bad. Um, it was an unusual tactic from Dyche, at least from what I remember. Um, what's catching your eye?
Nothing. Goal and assist against Tottenham on the 14th. Goal against Newport on the 28th. Goal and assist against Wolves on the 1st. And then goal against West Ham on the 4th. So 6 GA in the last 4 games. He's starting to find his form.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and on the season he has 6 GA. So
Yeah.
um, math. Yeah, so he's been much better. Um, and that just means, you and I have talked a little bit. He wasn't really getting the service that he needed, and I'm guessing that this is the lineup they've been looking to get healthy all season.
Yeah.
Like with the Hoyland, Bruno, Marcus Rashford, Garnacho, Casemiro, Mano, Licha. I would want to say Varane at that right center back role, but Harry Maguire started there at the weekend. The only outside backs, who the fuck cares? They all suck.
Yeah. Which we'll also talk about Lissandro Martinez going down in the West Ham game. It looks like it's not as bad as, or you know what? Let's just go to the West Ham United game. It
Yeah,
looks
let's
like
just move there.
Martinez isn't dealing with an ACL injury,
They said a
which
couple weeks,
yeah.
7 weeks, I think, or maybe it was 7 games. I remember seeing the number 7 somewhere.
Okay, well, I'm gonna look it up real quick because that
That's
is a
fine, and I'll just say that's a big difference. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, maybe not so much for them because they're probably only playing about once a week right now anyway. Not a shot. You're just not in Europe anymore. Uh, but all that being said, and you know what? No, I'm not even gonna go there. Um, Lissandro Martinez has been actually one of the better players for Man United since he signed, but this season he hasn't even played because of injuries. Are we worried about the injuries that he continues to get? Honestly, I'm a little bit worried, but if I was a United fan, I wouldn't be. I'm worried because you're relying on a guy who can't stay healthy. If I'm a United fan, you take the talent and just hope that he just doesn't get injured again and he stops being injured as much. Kind of like, I'm not saying like Gareth Bale because Gareth Bale is like elite footballer on his day, but you take the injuries with Gareth Bale because when he's healthy, he's deadly. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So Lissandro's a great defender, and he's someone that you want to be there as much as possible. But if he's not, you still take him when he's healthy because he's pretty damn good when he's healthy.
yeah, and
Not my he's not my kind of defender though. Like I don't love him, but I get why people do.
yeah, he is out for that 7 weeks that you said. So
Okay,
that's that's a pretty big blow for them.
he's pretty much missed the whole season.
Yeah, it was his first game back, so there you go. Um, they beat West Ham 3-0 in this game, in a game they probably got lucky to win by such a landslide. XG 0.88 to 1.32 in West Ham's favor. Um, I didn't get to watch this game either, but seems as if they probably scored some good goals, to be honest. If they got three from 0.88, and then West
I
Ham
like it.
obviously unlucky to not score. Um, let's go back. Let's circle back now to a game where Everton really outplayed Spurs. Um, in my opinion, even as a Spurs fan, Everton are unlucky not to walk away with 3 points here. Everton are really riled up by the FFP stuff. Um, they held up these posters actually in the 10th minute. Every single fan, these yellow posters that were just saying, speaking out against what they say is corruption. I probably agree with them, and really, it was two finishes from Richarlison that saved the day for Spurs. Especially that second goal. It was a great finish from outside the box, just a curler to the far post. I don't know. Everton had this really good, intense high press that Spurs struggled to deal with. Um, and Sarr comes on to make his first appearance since coming back home from AFCON. Um, didn't look totally sharp for the Prem. I'm gonna be honest. But that's a game we really could have used him to link defense and midfield, and then hopefully midfield and attack since he is a box to box.
Did he start in the game?
No, he came on.
Okay.
But just
Did
broader.
we? Sorry, no, go. I just had a question about United. Did we finish that talk? Sorry, I need
No,
to go
yeah,
get a charger.
yeah, no, we did.
Um, So just the XG there was pretty brutal. Probably an unfair result was all I wanted
Yeah,
to add to that. And the
yeah.
XT was quite even. So I don't know if you mentioned it, but it was something I thought was relevant.
No, I did.
Thank you, Kev. Much appreciated.
No problem. Um, but no, yeah. Sorry didn't start. I forget what I was going to say, but
I'm
oh
so sorry. I
no,
forget
you're
all.
fine. Just more broadly speaking, for Spurs season, this is a big blow because we see Aston Villa beat Sheffield 5-0 to reclaim the fourth spot. And I'm not totally mad at a point away from home in a hostile environment with the fans really galvanized.
As I said, it's not
Yeah,
bad. Goodison Park isn't easy to go to ever.
right. And they're really a mid-table team. They on paper they look like a relegation team, but they're not. They're a good
They're
team
not.
this year. They're better than Chelsea.
Kind of like Wolves. Kind of like Wolves. Wolves is a
Yeah,
very good team, but
yeah.
on paper they're really not that good.
But yeah. And then we get you know our Brighton 4-1 Crystal Palace. They scored 4 goals from 1.74 xG. Really just mentioning this to say that people continue to sleep on Pascal Gross. He had 2 assists in this game, and he is just probably the most underrated player in the Prem right now.
Just a lot of with the Prem, just a lot of tale of two teams with Premier League teams right now. Good or bad, not really. Doesn't really matter, but this has kind of been the this has been a thing in the Prem for a long time. Just a lot of teams lack consistency properly, and they go on a lot of skids. And this is normal across Europe, but um, that's what makes the elite teams elite. And unfortunately, the elite teams in the Prem, like we see Arsenal, they're an elite team in the Prem, and they tend to be a team of two different sides of the coin. And sometimes we see the Arsenal where we're like, wow, this team's one of the best teams in the world. And sometimes we're like, how did they do that? Like, how is that
Yeah,
even possible?
yeah,
And Brighton, Newcastle, Chelsea, um, are also teams that are just like that. And they need to all of these teams, because we're talking about Brighton right now, and we'll talk about Newcastle in a sec. Need to get this consistency if you want to actually win trophies at the end of the day. And that's why Arsenal won't win a league anytime soon until they fix their consistency problem. You can
right.
beat Liverpool, you can beat City, but if you drop points to, let's just say, Luton, I don't know who they drop points to this season, but you drop points to Luton at home. You can't win a title doing that.
No, yeah, without a doubt, and that's why City has dominated. Um, they've been by far the most consistent, and it's why Arsenal bottled the Prem last year. So that's a great point. Um, Speaking of Newcastle, it's a crazy 8 goal thriller with Luton in which they draw 4-4. And the XG is pretty close, 2.89 to 2.45.
How many goals was in the City game today? Was it four? Did City win 3-1
Yes.
or 4-1? Okay, so they were 1 goal short of the match day record for goals in a match day.
Oh,
The
really?
record is 45, and they got 44 because they were talking about it during the Arsenal Liverpool game.
Well, yeah, it was a really, really
It
high
was a
score.
high scoring weekend, and then I looked and I was like, "Damn! If Sheffield could have just nabbed one, or maybe West Ham nabbed one, you
Yeah.
got it."
No, that's interesting. Luton are scoring goals for fun right now. That's 4 goals in back-to-back games.
There's no way they get relegated. There is no way.
I
I
I don't
just
think so.
I don't I just don't know who does. Obviously Sheffield goes down. Obviously Burnley goes down. That last spot is probably going to be Nottingham Forest. I'm thinking.
Yeah, unless Everton get hit again. Um,
Well, Nottingham Forest is going to get hit, so
oh,
like that's why I'm like, who's if Nottingham Forest gets hit, this might be a blessing in disguise for Luton. Um,
yeah,
Either Everton, if Everton gets hit again, man, that's brutal. You know what? I would rather them just hold off until next season and hit them then. Just be like, look, you start the year with -12, okay? Like,
yeah.
dig yourself out of the hole, have fun.
Which
Um,
they could do in the
they
championship.
could easily do. No, I was saying in the Prem.
Oh,
Um, I'm saying I would rather them instead of dude like really you're gonna hit them twice in 1 year. That's crazy. That's insane. Why would you ever do that? For the viability of a club, why would you ever do that? Like I know they broke the rules, but like it's a business at the end of the day. And
Well,
the thing is there's people that have jobs, and you're really fucking with just normal people. And I'm saying they should be punished, but let's spread out the punishment instead of doing it all at once. Is kind of unfair, in my opinion. And I get it, they made their decisions and they made their bed, but I would rather them just wait to punish them for another year.
I see where you're coming from, and like I mentioned when you're grabbing your charger, all the Everton fans in the 10th minute of the Spurs game held up these yellow pieces of paper that spoke out against FFP corruption, and I just know that corrupt,
Facts.
corrupted organizations don't like being called out, and so they drop the hammer and they make examples out of teams like in Everton and what they're doing. So they could make an example out of Everton. Meanwhile, the cities of the world get away with what they do. But
Which we don't want to get into those weeds right now. But, and there's just a deeper problem here. Just because you made me think about it. I don't know if you pay attention to Bundesliga as much as me, but, you know, they've been throwing tennis balls onto the field and they've been throwing chocolates onto the field. And, they do a bunch of stuff just to protest. And, like, the Germans are real good about it. And in their process is always the price of tickets. It's fucking hilarious. They're like, no, we want €5 tickets. Like, we're gonna throw a tennis ball. And it's just hilarious. But the viability of the Bundesliga needs the ticket prices to be higher. But I get it; they want it to be a spectacle for, it's entertainment, and I don't know. I'm caught between. I don't agree with putting a cap on how much teams can charge prices for, but price gouging people is also ridiculous at the same time. So it's like the scales of economy of it all is very brutal
yeah,
because
for sure.
you have to try to find a balance, and it's really hard to find a balance when you want to help the people that have been there for years. And like I just for an example, I don't know if I ever brought it up here, but I know I've talked about it with people. Is I was just browsing Real Madrid's tickets, and because I want to go to Spain recently, I was like, God, these like even a Betis game, like they were playing Real Betis, and I was like, man, I'd really love to go to the Benito Villamarín. Like that'd be fucking awesome. Tickets are like sort of like 120. I'm like, oh, that's not bad. I look at like the same tickets against like Rayo Vallecano. It's like €15. I'm just like, fucking hell. And like I
Yeah,
get it, you have to, it's Real Madrid, everyone wants to be there. They want a good environment. But like, I don't know. I know it's a weird rant to go on, but we were just talking about, uh, protest, and it's pretty shitty when you think about it. Okay.
yeah. No, it's a double edged sword for sure. Um, what is a double edged sword is the Chelsea team.
Is being a Man United fan.
yeah. Um, yes. Or wait, no, we're going to Chelsea Wolves.
No, I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you. I'm so
Oh
sorry.
no, it's fine. Just in the doc, it was United, and I thought you were trying to transition, but
No, no, no.
it's completely fine. Wolves beat Chelsea 4-2. There was a matheus Cunha hat trick.
Bum.
Huh?
I said he's a bum.
Oh, you don't like him?
No, I don't have a problem with him. He's just a bum in La Liga.
Okay.
That's quite a common theme that guys who are okay in La Liga go to the Prem and kind of do well.
Yeah. Well, real quick, little side note. We probably should have mentioned this at the top
Side
of the
note.
podcast, but a Brazilian in La Liga reminded me that City are confirmed getting Savio this
Oh,
summer.
yes. Yes. Today that kind of went through.
Yeah, which we did discuss on this podcast. You heard it here
Yeah,
first.
I called that. We mentioned it weeks ago. It was a done deal. My sources told me it was done.
yeah.
I'm essentially Fabrizio Romano.
Yeah.
Just listen to me. Um,
But yeah, I doubt we'll ever get anything like a transfer fee or anything like that because it's just, it's pretty much
it's
like
just money moving hands.
yeah, it's
It's
like
just like
almost an
thanks.
incestual transfer to put it in a weird way. But
That's
anyways,
hot. And In other news, Lewis Hamilton signed with Ferrari for 3 years, and they're just going in all different directions.
Yeah, but yeah, Wolves obliterate Chelsea. Even though maybe unfair result. You mentioned some notes about Gary O'Neill. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, so actually, I don't really have. This is actually a good friend of mine who was hyping up Gary O'Neill to me for a good like. He was actually simultaneously shitting on Pochettino and hyping up Gary O'Neill in one text message to me, and we just had a conversation, and he wanted me to shit on Pochettino, and I just wasn't. I was like, to be honest, I haven't really watched all that much Chelsea this season because I don't really want to, but he's actually a statistician, a status.
A statistician.
Thank you. I'm pretty sure I said it right the first time. It just doesn't roll off the tongue that well.
Hmm.
And I was like, yeah, but the XGD is really good for Chelsea. And he's like, dude, I work in stats. My degree's in stats. That doesn't mean shit. And I was just like, come on, man. I'm just letting you know that it's okay. And Chelsea just continues to have good XT. Their XGD is good, which has actually gotten worse the past couple months. But, my notes on Gary O'Neill come from this person. Um, he really is a big fan. And, this is something that you and I talked about probably before we had the pod, is that we were like, oh, Wolves is going down. They pretty much told their club, don't expect to be here very long because we're broke. And Gary O'Neill has pretty much saved them. Um, he's great with their space management and their usage in space. He's able to make his team and players perform with less means. And at a smaller club with less means, such as Wolves, they're playing attractive and attacking football, and they love to exploit space between and behind the lines. They run a 3-4-3, kind of like Xabi Alonso's 3-4-3. I believe with the two number 10s, kind of like with Wirtz and Jonas Hoffman. I believe they have Neto and God, the name I know it. I just lost it. Who is behind Cunha normally? It's Neto and
Well, Neto just got healthy again. I can check for you real quick. I'm also unaware.
I know the name. I'm gonna feel like I'm
Pablo
getting it wrong.
Sarabia.
Thank you, God. So Pablo Sarabia loves to operate in that space too. And, he's someone that has been successful at other clubs and big clubs. And, this Wolves team actually has when you look at their roster, it's really not that bad. When you look at that roster, you're like, this team should stay in the Prem, but, the bench is really thin. They also have that Asian striker, you know who I'm talking about. I can't,
Yeah,
Huang, is that his name?
He Chan
Um,
Huang.
Okay, so yeah, and he's solid. He's a big boy. Um, he loves to get in the dirty areas, get it done, and just maybe honestly, I think you and I were probably pretty wrong about this Wolves team, but when we talked about it the first time, but Gary O'Neill has them ticking all the boxes. They're punching well above their weight. They're not deep. Again, I will repeat, they are not deep, but they have a solid starting 11. And, a little bit deeper than that, maybe 12, 13, 14 guys deep. And, that allows them to win enough games in the Prem. And, they don't need to make rotations. Right now their job is to just stay up and not go down. And, they're doing that pretty well. And I think they're pretty safe. I would actually say in my head they are 100% safe.
Without a
And
doubt,
Gary
man.
O'Neill deserves a lot of the credit. They're actually a really exciting team to watch. They score a lot of goals, which is kind of crazy for, it's not like they have an Osimhen or Erling Haaland or anyone, Matheus Cunha, whose goal record is really not fantastic anywhere he's been, um,
Yeah, their
putting the goals in. So,
their main source of goals this season has been Huang, who has 10. Who's actually obviously out at the Asian Cup right now with South Korea. But
I mean, even Cunha has 9 goals and 6 assists. So, in 23 appearances, which really isn't bad. I mean,
that's pretty good
that
actually.
that's very good.
Um, and yeah, I saw Neto has 2 goals and 8 assists, which is that's solid. Um,
It's good enough.
yes. I was just about to say. Yeah, Wolves are clearly safe. They're in 10th place.
Yeah, they look really good actually, and beating Chelsea makes it a lot easier for them.
Yeah.
Um,
The one thing I'll say is I might be sort of out of my I don't know.
Depth.
I might not be justified in saying this, but I think you see teams that are over rotating, like Chelsea, like Brighton, um, struggling this year. I don't know if this is a common theme like across many seasons, but the teams that don't have to rotate as much, Wolves, and then Spurs to a certain extent,
It has
Arsenal.
been.
Arsenal don't really rotate a whole lot. But then the team, even City, when they had to rotate, they were struggling. I'm not the biggest fan of over rotating the squad. I get rotating the team when you have to, and when there's a weaker opponent and guys are tired. But you know, the same 11 just continuing to get more comfortable with one another. Week in week out, gaining insights. I don't know. There's something to be said there. I think.
Well, and back to Matheus Cunha. I'm just looking at his stats. So last year he only had 2 goals in the Prem. In 40 games for Atletico, he only had well, he didn't. He never scored in the Champions League, which so we can add 12 games to that. 52 games for Atletico, he has 6 goals and 8 assists. So really, he's tied. So he had 6 goals and 6 assists one year, um, which isn't a bad return for Atletico. But he's already broken his goal record for a season, and he's already tied his assist record. So we're looking at his best season yet. He's only 24, has a lot of time to grow, and I think that's why Wolves brought him in, is to hope that they could maybe sell him for a profit eventually, which they might be able to do. And something I will say is that um, guys are able to exploit the hot, like Matheus Cunha. It's a lot easier for him to score in the Prem because there's a lot more higher lines, so he can exploit those. While in La Liga, he's a lot of low blocks, and essentially with La Liga right now is we're essentially seeing prime defensive Serie A come back in La Liga. That's kind of the way La Liga's been for a couple of years now, because it started with Diego Simeone, which kind of showing, hey, this is how you beat Real Madrid and Barca, prime Real Madrid and Barca, and then a lot of other teams started following suit. It's like, hey, we can just kind of not, I don't want to say act like thugs, but bother him, badger him, annoy him, and so I'm not. Maybe he's better than I thought he was going to be because the numbers look good, and maybe he's a better player now than I thought. I'm still not high on him, but maybe he's someone I should revisit, rewatch again, and see, because the tangibles are there with him. But for me, if you're a 9, I need to see consistent scoring. That's your job.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, Moving on to Arsenal Liverpool. Arsenal get the win 3-1. I didn't get to watch this game, unfortunately, so I'm gonna have to give the floor over to you for this game.
So this is going to piss a lot of people off. I actually thought Liverpool was kind of unjustly lost. And when you look at the advanced metrics, the attacking momentum, everything is in Arsenal's favor. So did Arsenal deserve to win? Oh yeah, I'm not saying that, but I thought the 2 last goals that Liverpool conceded were such shit, such garbage goals that I thought a 1-1 result would have been fair. I also think a 2-1 would be fair, or a 2-0 would have been fair, because I don't think Liverpool created much. I saw something from XG Philosophy where every shot Arsenal took on average was 0.25 XG, and of all the shots that Liverpool took, the average was 0.04 XG. Just look at the difference in XGs there. Um, Klopp was way out of his depth in this one for whatever reason. VVD and Allison lack of communication gets the winner for Martinelli, who it just falls to. And I saw people blaming Allison. I didn't really see anyone blame VVD, but something I do want to say is that, like, if you're a defender, bro, like, if your goalie's coming out of his box, dude, I don't fucking shield the guy. Just get the ball away. Like, like, just, if the goalie's in the box and can grab it with his hands, like, are you really going to trust a goalie to fucking clear a bouncing ball like that when he feels like he's being rushed? Because I know I don't. Um, And honestly, I probably would have rather just Ali. I mean, you probably agree with this. I'd rather Allison have just caught it and be like, "Oh fuck, I'm not in my box," and just taken the yellow card. Um, that being said,
Yep.
and then the third one, the Troussard goal, just that was weak by Allison, like really weak. And this is a guy that's considered one of the best goalies in the world. And how do you get cooked 5-hole on a ball right at you where he can't go anywhere but at you, or near post? And I just, and that's why I think a 1-1 result would have been fair. Yeah, and that's all I kind of had to add. And I just thought Klopp got it really wrong. The players clearly weren't showing the proper intensity. Darwin didn't start, which was really weird. He's been one of their most influential players with Salah gone. And I thought Luis Diaz played well, but, he goes with a midfield of McAllister, Jones, and Gravenberch, which is fine. Trent finds his way back in the team. Joe Gomez at left back. Robertson comes on as a sub, and Trent comes off because he's just back from injury, which I thought was weird. Thiago Alcantara finally makes his way back after God knows however many months. And I thought it was all around weird from Klopp. I thought he lacked intensity. I thought the team lacked intensity. And, I've been running to the hills saying that I think this is Liverpool's year. They got to win. They're going to do it for Klopp. They're going to do it for Klopp. And they just fucking disappoint me like this. I just,
Yeah, yeah,
even though it was at the Emirates. So, you kind of expect Arsenal to win. But I think Liverpool's the better team on paper. And I think Liverpool's the better tactical side as well. But go, sorry.
no, you're good. That was a good synopsis. I was just gonna say that Arsenal get back into the title race with this one. And they also do City a huge favor. I think City can go clear.
They
Um,
can.
they might have
Fucking
gone top.
sickening. No, they have a game in hand though.
Okay, so yeah, they could go top
That's
by
the
1 point.
thing. Yeah,
Um,
that's so bad, dude. And City have won over 5 on the bounce. They have won 5. Um,
the next match is against Everton at home. Um, it feels like
who's
they
City's game in hand? Do you know?
Everton.
Oh, so they play.
Oh wait. Sorry, no, I don't know this. It's
Oh, sorry.
Brentford. It's Brentford.
Oh my gosh. So that's a W. Yep,
Yeah,
and it's coming up on the 20th. So expect to see City on top by the 20th.
especially because they have Copenhagen in the round of
Yeah,
16, which we'll get to in a separate podcast. But
Thursday.
this
Thursday.
means
Look for it on
City.
your feed on Friday.
Yeah,
Look for it on your feed on Friday.
this means City don't really have to, play a super strong team against Copenhagen midweek. They can focus on the Prem if they'd like. Um, so yeah,
And they play Everton at home, and then they play Chelsea at home, and then they play Brentford at home. So I don't expect them to drop points in any of that time frame.
yeah, no, it's going to take until March until I think we could see City potentially slip when they have Liverpool away, Brighton away, Arsenal at home, and then Villa at home. That's a tough 4 game stretch.
Well, and I was gonna say the one thing with Man City is you have to look for the away matches. They struggle away from home. They always have struggled away from home for the past 2 seasons. So, like, the Bournemouth away on the 24th is when you got to circle. And I'm not saying they're going to drop points because guess what? They just played Brentford away today and kicked the shit out of them with Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne back. Which should probably actually be our new talking. Man City beat Brentford, 3-1, Phil Foden hat trick, I believe.
Yeah, and the
45 plus 3, 53 and 70 after going down 1-0.
yep, and Neil Maupay is actually in decent form, but fuck that guy. Um,
Is
yeah,
it weird to you that Everton sent him on loan with the season he's having?
I think it was really a personal thing.
Okay.
Brentford is his home.
Yeah.
He's not having like a great season. He's just in good form right now. Um, but yeah, I guess that is strange. He really wasn't working out at Everton though, and Brentford needed him more than Everton did, to be honest.
Especially with Tooney being out.
Yeah,
But we see City's lineup. This is probably City's strongest lineup. You think? Um,
it's one of them. It's
Maybe a
probably
Kanji or Stones in the middle so that they can bump one up.
yeah.
But this is a pretty strong lineup. Something that is,
I want to see the
if
average.
Pep decides to play this lineup in UCL and they play a tough team, I don't see that. I don't see them winning a tie if he goes over this for two ties, just because where's the balance come from? Um, Especially from a team that can hit you on the counter. But the one positive is he's got two lines of five, and that's huge. He's got five sitting there defending, and they're going to try to outpossess you. And I didn't watch this game today. I was busy. I had kind of had my eye on the Roma game anyway, who cooked today. Um, but I'm assuming Kyle Walker doesn't really push up the wing much, so I'm guessing it was just kind of a flat four. When John Stones gets into the mix, he can push up and they can form that 3-2 that they like to do.
I'm gonna share this with you right now.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Here are
Oh,
the
me
average
too.
positions. It looks kind of clunky from
Can you
City,
zoom in for me?
huh?
Can you zoom in?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's much better for me. Sorry, I'm on my phone today. Okay, yeah. So it's essentially what I expected. Yeah, you have your U from the defenders. Wow. Wow, why is Haaland deeper than Kevin De Bruyne? That's crazy.
That's
And
just gotta be.
Foden's in kind of a weird position too.
Yeah,
I
he is.
expected they're playing with four tens right now, man. It's kind of three tens and a shadow. So
It's a
it can
weird
work
one.
against Brentford. It can work against Brentford. I don't see how it works against others, to be quite honest.
It's really strange. Brentford. Bernardo Silva is one of the more advanced City players, which you're not really used to seeing. Um, it's a weird
Usually he
one.
tucks in. Yeah. I mean, he is
Not,
tucked in, but he's also essentially the most wide player on that side. Um, it's a weird one. It's definitely a weird one.
yeah.
I guess we'll have to see.
He was trying something new though, and it worked.
I mean, it worked today. So, and it's Pep, so
Yeah.
it's always going to work eventually.
Yeah.
That's what Pep does. Um,
Let us
I
move on.
guess, yeah, let's La Liga
La
midweek.
Liga midweek. Um, Nothing of importance here, but Vitor Roque
Vitor
did
Roque.
Vitor Roque did score in a 1-0 win for
El
Barcelona.
Tigre. El Tigre. That's what I call him now. Because he does like this. Like he's a
Yeah.
fucking 6-year-old kid who's obsessed with tigers.
Nah,
Um,
I kind of fuck with it.
I can't fuck with it. Okay, like it's
He's
just
only 18.
no. Honestly though, I like him as a player a lot. Already. Obviously, this isn't the end product, but he's shown great signs of someone that I think has the potential to be a good player in Barcelona. That signing might be what could save them in a lot of ways. And not that I'm saying that Vitor Roque should be the savior, but he could be the savior for them, much like Vinicius was kind of the savior for us in a lot of ways.
Yeah, your Barcelona are still in a space where they haven't really
Yeah.
ever replaced the Messi, the Neymar. They replaced the midfield, but not the attack. And in this game where they're about even XG, a crucial player like a Vitor Roque is the one that puts you over the edge. Um,
Well, and Osasuna actually cooked them in XG by point 0.5 essentially. So
yeah,
like Osasuna were kind of hard done, and a kid like Victor Roque coming in and his knack for scoring is pretty solid. Like he's doing it in short time, and like he's doing it against tired legs normally, but and to me this isn't the post Messi thing or the post Neymar thing. To me, it's the post Suarez and the post Lewandowski and the post Aubameyang. Like they need a young nine that they can trust and believe in, and who's going to supply them goals on a consistent basis. Because they're going to have no problem creating goals with Pedri and Gavi and Lamine Yamal, and I think they need to move to a more young centric squad. I've been saying this for a lot of years. I don't think they're good enough to be competing for trophies anyway. So why keep buying, a Lewandowski or a Rafinha who moves the needle but doesn't move the needle enough? You might win a La Liga here, you might win a Copa there, but is that really the ultimate goal? No, the ultimate goal is to have continued success with the same squad. And so, a Frankie De Jong is someone that should stay. A Gundogan is actually a good signing for his age, but it was on a free. Lewandowski was not a good signing. A Rafinha for 70 mil was not a good signing. Um, Probably a Kunde was not a good signing when you go get Christensen on a free and you get Inigo Martinez on a free, and you already have Ronaldo Rojo. Go get a right back to complement. Stop playing Jules Kunde in a right back role. So yeah, that's just kind of my Barca rant right now. You can clip that if you want. I don't really care. 1 hour and 4 minutes. Clip it. No, I'm
There
just
we go.
messing. But that's kind of, if I was running Barcelona, that's what I would do.
But yeah, it's I don't know. They're not.
Victor Roque hype from a Real Madrid fan.
There we go. That's the real clip right there.
That's the real clip.
Atletico 2, Rayo Vallecano 1. Depay bags the winner in the 90th minute. You said there was a thriller. This was a good game.
Yeah, it was. A little back and forth. Uh, Rayo is very inconsistent, and Atletico is um, very inconsistent as well right now. As we'll see, they do own us, but Depay's finally coming into form. I think he has 3 goals in his last 3, not including the game from the weekend. But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, Atletico keep pushing. They just, they've got to hold on to that UCL spot. I think the UCL spots are pretty much already done in La Liga, in my opinion. But um, you know, widen that gap. We'll see it a lot when we talk about the Bundesligas. That gap.
yeah,
So
yeah. We'll continue moving on because this is another instance where we get to compare the midweek and the weekend. Madrid get the win over Getafe 2-0. Jose Lu grabs a brace. Um,
go,
you're
go.
saying you're saying he could be a potential 20 goal player. Um,
Yeah, he's almost there actually.
I did not know that. But the
Yeah,
main
he's having a really good year.
I didn't know that. But the main thing, let's get to the juicy thing, which doesn't really have to do with the game itself. But Jude Bellingham calls Mason Greenwood a rapist.
We don't know
Um,
if he actually did call him a rapist, by the way.
oh, we don't.
He's got 12. He's got 12 goals this year, by the way. 12 goals and 4 assists. Jose Lu.
That's good because he's not
Yeah,
starting
he's
a whole
almost
lot.
there.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. No. I mean, that's what the lip readers are saying. He called him a rapist. I mean, when you look at it, you could. Some people are saying it looks like rubbish. Like rapist, rubbish. The lip movement's very similar. Um, but it's a controversy because they were talking about persecuting Jude for it and punishing him for
Why?
calling a rapist a rapist. Crazy. Um, it's because the league is anti Real Madrid. It has been for a long time. They'll do, it's Negrera Liga. And, they're just trying to push, they'll do anything to hold Real Madrid down like they did with the fucking stupid yellow card. Chouameni's given a yellow card in the 90 plus 2 after the play was called dead for offsides. He fouls him and they give him a yellow card. Carlo then asks about the yellow card and says, why is that a yellow card? He was offsides. That doesn't count. The play is nullified. Who then is given a yellow card. And he's like, how about the fucking penalty you missed down there? Where the ref missed 2 penalties in this game. Real Madrid have really been gutted by not by penalties, by referee decisions in the past 2 games. And I hate to say it, but I did call it, just so you know.
Yeah. No, I don't get.
I hate talking about refs though, so I don't want to. That's not the
Yeah.
point here. But
We'll talk about that.
when the decisions have a fucking rippling effect of your bad refereeing, it's a problem.
No, yeah. I think any fan should be cognizant of that. When it's not your club, you like to bash others, but when it's your club, that's when you start to talk about it. But the one thing I wanted to say is like Jude Bellingham and Mason Greenwood are two guys that probably know each other an all right
Pretty
amount.
well, you'd think. Yeah.
Yes, like that's where the league should contextualize and be like, you know, they like I just said they know each other pretty well. Like I'm not
Probably
saying
did call him a rapist.
yeah,
He
I'm
probably
not saying
did. He's probably fuck this guy. He's a fucking rapist.
yeah, and I'm not saying Jude is like just having banter with Greenwood, but it's like
No, he meant it. If he said it, he definitely. You could see it. I
yeah,
don't know if you saw the video. He's like rapist, like or rubbish or whatever he said. Either way, he's talking trash. I mean, like guys talk trash. Like they can be
yeah,
boys off the field, but guys talk trash. And this might have to do this. This might have to do with the fact that they did make a big deal about, oh, Jude's trying to bring Mason Greenwood to the Real Madrid, blah blah blah. I don't know if you saw when they were running that in the papers. Maybe he's just like, no, I'm not. Like so, like maybe he made it a point to, be like, yo, fuck this guy.
yeah. That's interesting. Um, is he on loan at Getafe? Is he going back to
Yeah,
United?
yeah. There's no way Hitafe could ever afford him. Um, United, so in my opinion, United have been, with their boys in the papers, in the news, they've been pushing that every big club wants him. Nobody cares that he's a rapist, blah, blah, blah. And Real Madrid didn't sign Luis Suarez because he bit somebody. I don't think they're going to sign someone who rapes someone, okay? So.
Yeah, it's weird. They're just doing.
Hitafe is the only club in the world that actually would touch that dude with a 10-foot pole.
Why do they have a bad track record?
Yeah, they're dickheads. They're known dickheads. Even I was listening to this podcast with this guy who partially owns, I want to say, Cadiz, and he was just like, there's only a few clubs I don't get along with, and Hetafe is one of them. He said the president's a dickhead. They're all a bunch of dickheads, he said. Because in Spain it's common where you go to dinner with the other president the night before the game, you then sit next to them in the box, and so on and so forth. It's very
Yeah,
customary in Spain. So, these owners tend to get to know each other pretty well. Owners and presidents and, all of them.
yeah.
But,
Let us move on to the weekend of La Liga, where we start off with Athletic Club beating Mallorca 4-0. Pretty comprehensive victory for
my
the
boys, that's
lads.
why I'm representing.
Yeah. Um, I guess the major talking point here is both Williams brothers going down. Um,
Injured. Yeah,
are,
not good. No
are
bueno.
are they bad injuries?
I haven't checked. I haven't followed up, but both of them going off injured with a midweek game against Atletico is not good. They do have 2 extra days rest on Atletico, so that's good. But it's not. It's not. They play Wednesday. But 4 goals from 1.1, 1.9 xG is pretty solid too. So
Yeah, for sure.
Athletic Club is kind of they. I don't know if you noticed, but they kind of hit a rut for a little while, a couple games. They dropped out of top four. Remember, they were in top four, and then they dropped out. They're not really a top four team, but I think they're a European side if they can keep the boys cooking and going. And I just want to mention that Kyle Larin for Mallorca is pretty good too, the Canadian striker. Um,
Oh, okay. Yeah. Um, I just like I just completely blanked out. But let's move on real quick because I'm
yeah, let's
embarrassed.
just keep pushing.
Alaves won 3 Barcelona. Barcelona are now getting going in some way. Vitor Roque scores once again, but he gets a red card. I'm not sure what happened.
He
Um,
stepped on Rafa Mir.
okay.
And they're claiming that it's fake and blah blah blah. He posted a picture after the game. They're like, Barcelona fans are like, look, it's scabbed. Would it really scab in 2 hours? And I'm just like, dude, who gives a fuck? God, he got a red card. He's suspended. You deal with it, or you can appeal it, and then he misses a game later. He
Yeah.
stepped on him. He cut his skin. They just love to complain. But Victor Roque doing the special, El Special, a goal and a red. That's the way I want to go out. If I'm gonna go
Yeah.
out, that's the way I want to go out.
They were within like 10 minutes of each other, right?
Probably even less.
Fair enough.
He's been consistently being subbed on around the 60th minute though, so Xavi's giving him a lot of time. And this is a little off topic, but it's on topic because of Barcelona. Lewandowski invited all the players, including the B team players, over to his house to have a meeting after Xavi said he was going to resign,
Hmm.
to try to get the boys going. So we should expect a mentality bump here from Barcelona to push for the end of the season. That would be my thought here.
That's pretty cool. Lewandowski, class act.
Nah, fuck Lewandowski, bro. That dude's a fucking clown. His goddamn TikTok dances and shit.
Yeah. I wonder what Thomas Muller thinks of those.
I wonder what Thomas Mueller actually thinks of Robert Lewandowski. He's had problems with like every manager at Bayern Munich for like the last 10 years too. Like, he just seems like a dickhead.
I didn't know
But
that.
moving on. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a big reason that Gosman got fired.
Well, yeah, you could always kind of get the sense that Lewandowski's sort of like he reminded me a lot of Aaron Rodgers in a way to make an NFL comparison. Just
I
like
don't
a
even
guy.
think Lewandowski was there when Nagelsmann. I'm pretty sure Lewandowski was gone when Nagelsmann got fired, but he was someone that had big issues with Nagelsmann. Um,
Yeah.
like in training, he went up to Nagelsmann and because Nagelsmann was trying to get him to do something, and he's like, "Why would I listen to you? Have you ever scored X amount of goals in the Bundesliga? No. Okay, then I'm not listening to you." He's just a clarified dickhead.
Yeah. That's sort of.
See, I like Aaron Rodgers though.
I just mean someone who like kind of thinks that
Rubs people
they're
the wrong way a lot.
well that, but they just think that they're the whole organization, and like in a way that they are like they're the face of the franchise, but do they get a heightened sense of importance that's not really true because
Narcissism.
it's a team sport, It's not like it's an
Well,
individual sport.
and you don't score goals if you don't get fed. So
Yeah, exactly.
deal
And
with
you
it.
don't throw touchdowns if the receiver doesn't catch the ball. But anyways,
Yeah, exactly.
um, in a game that I had my eyes on, um, Girona Real Sociedad, it ends up being a 0-0 game. Um, was it 0-0?
Yeah, yeah, it was no. Um,
Okay.
so actually, Girona scored a goal, and actually, I went and rewatched the highlights because I wanted to see, and they didn't even show what had happened to why it was scored. So what happened was there was a ball played, and I think it was Savinho was offsides, and they let the play go on. Real Sociedad clear the ball, and it goes on for like a good like 45, 50 minute, and they score. And then the ref blows it. It's like, it was offsides. And everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they pulled it back for way too long. I think there should be like a statute of limitations on how long you can decide. Like, yeah. Because I don't know if you remember, but there was a goal in the Champions League last year where someone was clearly fouled. I think it was like Kamavinga for us. And we're like, dude, like he's clearly fouled. Like, and they're like, no, it happened too long ago for us to count it. Where it's like, what? So yeah, I don't know. There needs to be more consistency, but Japan's knocked out. Real Sociedad's getting Kubo back. Good for them. And Michel is suspended for the Michel and Daily Blind are both suspended for the Real Madrid match this weekend. Saturday,
Well,
12:30, Real Madrid Girona, top of the table clash. I believe at the Bernabeu, definitely at the Bernabeu because the last one is at in Catalonia. Um, but, Real Sociedad going there and getting a point in Catalonia is a great result for them. A team that's been struggling and has dropped a little bit, and someone that you really don't expect to knock out PSG in the Champions League at this point with the way they've been looking.
yeah. Um, that's very true. Um, Celta Vigo 3, Osasuna 1. Osasuna are really falling apart, aren't they?
They're really brutal right now. It's kind
Um,
of sad.
yeah. You wanted to mention Luca Della Torre?
Yeah, dope.
Let's contextualize. In his last five, he's got 3 goals and 2 assists. He's a young American prospect. There you go.
That's all I
Um,
wanted to touch on.
yeah,
Probably deserves a call up to the national team. He's good.
yeah. So what? He could play off the left or the right, from what I remember. Or am
Yeah,
I?
I mean, I think he's still trying to find his place. To be quite honest, of where he's going to be most successful, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. That makes sense. And then we get
Kind of
to
like Gio Reyna in that sense, like can kind of play across, but we don't really know what suits him best yet.
yeah. Then we get to the Madrid derby.
The
Um,
juiciness.
yes, I didn't get to Sunday. Obviously, I'm working,
Yep.
so I didn't get to see the big games, but I heard a lot about it. It looked like Madrid were probably unlucky, and Chouameni misses another Madrid derby, and they don't get the win. Um,
And Rudiger's out. And so Real Madrid run a makeshift back line of Lucas Vasquez, aka Lucky V, Danny Carvajal at center back with his 5'2" ass, Nacho at center back with his 5'9" ass, and Ferland Mendy, who is in the third percentile in aerial duels. So Simeone is constantly sending crosses, third percentile of fullbacks, not even center backs. Um, Simeone we knew what the game plan was going to be. It was going to be send crosses into the box, take advantage of it. Game one, they beat us 3-1, three headers. We actually outproduced them on XG and XT that game. Game two, we draw 2-2. Hard fought match. Game three, we draw 2-2. Hard fought match. Game four, we tie 1-1. So technically the third draw of the season between these guys. Real Madrid should have easily finished this game. Lots of chances that weren't finished. Raheem Diaz nutmegs, beats his man. Is on the six, hits a curler, misses, and could have either squared to Rodrigo or hit the curler properly. Fede Valverde, Jude, and Raheem and Rodrigo are on a 4-on-2. Fede plays a simple pass to his right. Rodrigo shoots it right at the goalie. That's 5 games without scoring. Rodrigo probably should be benched, but won't be because Carlo loves him so much because Carlo is attached to the hierarchy he always has been. Which has been a big problem. No, which has seriously been a big problem with Real Madrid fans. It's why you would always see Tony first game of the season, first Madrid derby of the season. You see Tony Cruz and Luka Modric start. We're all like, dude, you haven't started them together all year, and now you're starting them when it fucking matters. That's why Lucas Vasquez played and Danny Carvajal slotted in the center back because he has a hierarchy and he trusts his guys. Madrid went on XG with 2.17 to 1.26. The XT is actually in favor of Atletico, but it was a lot of crossing, so that's why the XT is higher than the XG because crosses don't provide high XG, but they can provide high XT because they can be very threatening. As I said, you have that makeshift back line, which Chouameni also misses because of the yellow, which is bullshit. Atleti saw the back line and just cross constantly. I thought Real Madrid were the much better team, and so did Diego Simeone. He said it was a weird game. Marcus Llorente gets the tying goal, which essentially is the winning goal because you win a point. Real Madrid lose 2. It's a little Bermuda Triangle. I thought Nacho did really poor. He doesn't even try to win it with his head. Danny Carvajal, not a center back. It's probably his ball to try to win, but he's never out jumping Marcus Llorente, and Lunin doesn't call for it. Yeah, what's up?
I didn't remember that Marcos Llorente came from Madrid, Real Madrid.
Yeah. Yep. Also, I don't know if you know who Paco Gento is, but you should. His grandfather, most Champions League titles of all time, played for Real Madrid legend. Actually, 7 of the 15 goal scorers in La Liga against Real Madrid have been Real Madrid Academy products. We have a thing. Academy products score against us. Sergio Rivas, Alvaro Morata twice, Marcus Llorente, Javi Munoz. Who else has scored against us this year? I forget. But that's only
Sergio
4.
Sergio Ribas is he's permanently gone.
Cantera. I don't really. I think it's a buyback.
Okay.
We stopped doing loans and started doing buybacks because we realized other clubs weren't incentivized to use our players, so we started doing buybacks instead of loans. Vinicius was slated to start, forgot about this, and then was removed from the lineup because he's had a lingering back problem. He still found himself on the bench, but we weren't really sure. We thought he might have come on. Something that was huge here was Carlos' subs were really shitty. He pulls off Brahim, who is the man of the match, and keeps Rodrigo on, who's been worse, again, to the hierarchy. Brings on Jose Lu, which is fine. But then he pulls off Rodrigo and puts on Modric. So now you have five midfielders, and you think, oh, five midfielders, he's trying to control the game, but actually, your prevention of trying to control the game has actually prevented you from winning because you have Atletico knows that you can't hit them on the counter, which you want to do. In general, they're going to push, so you just play the numbers games and hit them on the counter. We had more than enough opportunities to put this game to bed, though. On the Fede pass, a lot of people thought that Fede should have probably passed it to Jude. I tend to agree, but I don't really think it was a deal breaker for me. I thought it was more Rodrigo who had to do better. All in all, I guess a 1-1 result is fair. We kind of felt that we knew we were going to concede a header. Like we were lucky to go 93 minutes without conceding one, with our average size of the back line being 5'6".
It's crazy.
Well, especially Alvaro Morata's 6'2", man, and he's a heading monster. I thought it was weird that Simeone pulled him off and put on Depay, who's not like a freak in the air. But to be honest, to get a point with a back line like that isn't the worst thing in the world. But
Yeah.
there's also three. Sorry, I've been talking a lot, so I'm lacking oxygen in my brain. There was three pens that were clearly missed. Jude Bellingham literally got tackled in the box by Marcus Llorente. Another guy got tripped. I forget the three, but there was three clear penalties that weren't called. At least one of them was 100% a penalty. Jude's trying to head the ball in a corner and literally gets tackled, like football tackled, like American football tackled, doesn't get called. It's just welcome to La Liga.
Yeah.
It's becoming a common thing now. The refs are terrible. It's been
Yeah.
a thing for a long time.
Talking about the gap, Madrid don't get a chance to extend the gap on Girona after they drop points, so that makes this weekend's match even juicier. I say we move on. Are you ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm good. I don't. Just Carlos' subs are wrong. Carlos' lineup was fine, but the subs are wrong, and the subs kind of cost us the game, unfortunately. Realistically, probably should have put on like Arda Güler. I think Ceballos came on too. Should have brought on like Arda Güler, and maybe just Arda Güler and Jose Lu would have been fine because you can still hit him in transition. Jose Lu's not really a transition striker, but
Yeah.
at least you have something. You have an option. Our bench was kind of thin though in attack. It always has been. And Jude looks so tired. My man needs rest. He's dying out here in these streets.
Damn. Moving on to the Bundesliga. Dortmund dropped points away from home as Leipzig beat Union Berlin to tighten the gap for top four. Stuttgart also are winning 2 in a row here as they try to separate themselves from the top four fight. And then Bochum get a huge point as they try to build a gap between themselves and the relegation battle. They gave away a pen late, though, that would have made that result even better for them. And then, just to focus a bit on some actual games, Leverkusen beat Darmstadt 2-0. Nathan Tea scored the 2 goals, didn't he?
He scored the one. I don't know about the second. I don't remember the second. I saw the first, and then I turned on the Bayern game.
I got you. Well, that's pretty cool.
He scored the winner either way, though.
I think that it goes to show the strength of Shabby's system. Not to discredit Frimpong, but
who's been amazing.
Yes, but the same guy in the same slot as scoring. That's good to see, and I'm just checking to see if it was. Yeah, he did get both.
Okay, cool.
This is a 24-year-old guy. That's pretty cool. And anyways,
probably still trying to find his place in football. So good for him.
Yeah. And then we have Bayern beating Mönchengladbach. You thought Dier starting over De Ligt was funny. I mean, that is pretty funny because it's not an easy game. Borussia Mönchengladbach. Oh my goodness. But I don't think De Ligt's a flop. Just to answer the question.
The question needs to be posed though because he really didn't make it that much at Juventus, who was more than willing to move on at a loss, and he hasn't made it at Bayern, and he's been jumped by Eric fucking Dyer in the rotation, which
Well,
is really concerning.
I'm pretty sure Delit's advanced metrics are pretty good.
I'm sure they are, but your advanced metrics can be whatever you want. But if Eric Dyer starts over you, I don't really give a fuck.
I get it. I get it.
Like if you're getting moved on for if you're one of the best up and coming center backs in the world, and you get moved on for a loss. I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, yeah, they're great. Yeah, but look at his defensive stats, bro. They're only his
Yeah,
aerials are good. I mean, granted, those defensive stats aren't really anything you really care about that much. But the point still stands.
yeah. I guess you know, looking at this is good, but in a Tuchel system, I don't know.
Can you pull up VVDs real quick? Just
Yeah.
curious,
Let
because I want
me
to see what his numbers look like.
let me let me. Sorry, I'm not.
No, you're fine. I probably would have just typed in his name up top, but do you, bro?
I'm just a guy.
Yeah. So when you look at it, they're VVD is considered one of the best center backs in the world. I don't really think he's been that amazing this season, but the point still stands that when you compare the two, they're pretty much in the same percentiles, about roughly. So,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know, right? Like,
And your these stats
it's
aren't
part
going
of the
to.
system you play into. Like Bayern isn't going to see a lot of attacks, while someone who plays for Bochum is going to see a lot. So they might be higher in the tackles category because they see more. If
Right.
you change
Exactly.
that to per 90, it might be a little different. No, but it still won't because you're still seeing more attacks per 90.
Yeah. No. That's a very good point, and that's what I was going to say. Is your tackles and your interceptions per 90 aren't going to be that high when you're on a Bayern or a Liverpool. Um, Moving on with Serie A, Inter take out Juve 1-0 from an own goal. So we highlighted this game as a really interesting game, and yet another Serie A game doesn't really live up to expectations. Um, let's see here. The XG was 1.6 to zero point 0.7, so looks like Inter probably should have got the win. Um,
Yeah, even if the goal was from an own goal, it seems like they should have scored one anyway.
yeah, and they tightened their grasp on the Serie A this season.
I think
To
it's
me,
pretty much a lock they win.
you do.
Yeah, I think Inter win pretty easily this season.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Um, the relegation, aside from the games not being that fun, it's kind of fun to follow from a bird's eye view because the relegation battle is tough. There's lots of candidates: Sassuolo, Udinese, Cagliari, Verona, Empoli, all within 1 point of each other. I'm assuming that's for the
Yeah,
18th
the third
place.
one for 18th place. Yeah, I think they're all on 38 or 39 points or something like that, or maybe it's way less than that. It's 18 or 19 points. Sorry.
That's pretty crazy though.
The 38 to 39 points, I believe, is the RB Leipzig and Dortmund fight.
Gotcha. Um,
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Milan take all 3 points away from home uh, at Frosinone as Luka Jovic bags the winner, former Madrid guy. Gotta love it.
Solidarity, brother.
Um, Milan's named Christian Pulisic as their pen taker. Is this controversial for you?
I don't think so, but it's gonna be controversial because he's American, and they're gonna make a big deal out of it, and they hate Americans, so
Yeah,
um, he's a pretty good pen taker, though. Like I've seen him take a lot of them. He's pretty good.
yeah, I agree with you.
Hershey,
Udinese,
born and bred, baby.
there you go. Udinese with another draw, 13 on the season. Supposedly
We're
the
like
red,
halfway through.
yeah, and supposedly the record's 20. So I mean,
It's pretty crazy.
a 20 draw season is nuts.
Apparently, the team that won 20 draws went 20, and 18. So
What? What?
apparently, that's what I saw. It was a very hard stat for me to find. I dug for like 20 minutes. It was like it was someone found it in like 2008.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's some weird stuff that goes on in Serie A. Um,
Yeah,
Bologna continued in great form at home, winning 2-0.
four
I
two, four
oh
two.
yeah, sorry,
I see why you see the 2-0 with the 20 right above it, but
I'm just long day of class, first day
yeah,
back.
we're running out right now.
We're running low on fumes.
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
I
I'm
still
gonna
gotta
zip
play
through it.
Danny in FIFA. So
I'm gonna zip through it and save the Thiago Mata
okay,
talk for another time. Um,
that's completely cool.
Atalanta take out Lazio at home 3-1. Probably the best Serie A game of the week. Um,
Atalanta are always entertaining, like always,
yeah, they play like a 3-5-2, 3-4-3. They really go for it in all their games. I would actually
and their
like,
name's pretty cool.
yeah,
Atalanta, that's a cool
yeah,
name.
I would kind of like to do a deep dive to see if they have any influence over Xabi Alonso. I doubt it, but I see some similarities. Anyways, we reached the AFCON quarterfinals. I'm gonna skip over the knockout stage if that's okay with you, just
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
that's
That's
so
completely fine.
yeah, it's so
We
long
just need to
gone.
talk about the Ivory Coast and the Mali game, really, from the other ones too. Like Nigeria
Yeah,
beat Angola 1-0, boring. Congo beat Guinea. That I think that's the first time Congo won in actual regular time, 3-1. Cape Verde goes to pens and loses South Africa. I did
that's
send you that note from my friend about South Africa. He's a big supporter, not a supporter of them, but he respects what they've done because they've built a team around the players within their own national league, and a lot of the guys in the national team play for the same team in the national league. Um, and so they've built that continue familiar, familiar, familiarity and the continuation of working together. Um, so that's why that team he believes they're going to go far. I believe um, South Africa plays Nigeria. I could be wrong on that one.
they do.
Okay, which means that Ivory Coast plays Congo. Um, and did you see the highlights of the Mali Ivory Coast game?
I did not.
I sent them to you. Okay, they were fucking insane. Like it was 17 minutes of fucking insanity. Um, at one point, Traore from Real Sociedad is trying to fight the ref after the game. Um, so Tapsoba, I believe it's Tapsoba, gets a red card in like the 45th minute. They're already down 1-0. Mali misses a pen um, early. So Mali's up 1-0, and then Ivory Coast score in the 90th minute to tie the game on a header. You're like, what the fuck? And then, listen to this, Kev. And then Ivory Coast scored the winner in the 120th, and the guy who scores the goal, red carded. Double yellow, takes off his shirt. So now Ivory Coast is down to 9 men, and they got to close out the game with 9 men. Bro, these guys literally tied the game with 10 men,
That's pretty
and
crazy.
then won the game with 10 men. They push it to extra time, they win. This is just a drastic change from a team that literally lost 4-0 in the group stage, and they now find themselves in the semifinal of AFCON. And AFCON is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone listening has tuned in any games. I don't know if you've tuned in any games, but AFCON is just fucking insane because when you look at AFCON, there's just the tactics out the window.
yeah,
It's just pure fucking chaos for 90 minutes plus. Pure
yeah. No,
fucking chaos for 120. And a lot of these games go to pens in this pure fucking chaos. And the penalty shootout is a fucking crapshoot every single time I've seen it. Like,
yeah.
dude, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, AFCON has been. I've never followed AFCON before until this year, and I've really enjoyed following it though. And I'm really rooting for the Ivory Coast because of my friend who's from there.
Yeah. No, Afghan is amazing. I followed it last time. It's just pure football. You know, balls to the wall, pedal to the metal. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, the semifinals will be really interesting. We'll probably get Nigeria, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, but maybe not because
that's the
Afcon is
hope.
Afcon is so unpredictable. Um,
I hope a Nigeria and Ivory Coast, and then an Ivory Coast win in the home nation. That's what I want to see. I think Congo could knock out Ivory Coast. Who the fuck knows what's going on there? With the Ivory Coast, they're just going balls to the wall right now.
yeah,
So
they really are. I wanted to. I'll check after. We go to the Asian Cup where we have Jordan versus South Korea and Qatar versus Iran in the semifinals. South Korea getting there on, you know, a hectic win against Australia, an extra time
every
winner.
win's been hectic.
Yeah,
They've had
you
to
know,
score in the 90th minute every single game.
yeah. So don't be surprised if Jordan wins that game. To be honest, and Iran Qatar is probably the game to watch here. It's much like Afcon, where it's kind of just pedal to the metal, no tactics. Qatar could go back to back, which is pretty
I think
crazy.
Qatar probably wins this game. I want to see Qatar South Korea, and I'd like to see South Korea win. Um, but I think it's probably going to be Qatar Jordan.
Yeah, which it goes to show like the level of the competition. Obviously, Japan get knocked out. They're probably the best team on paper in this competition, but um,
They're
Iran
the
isn't.
highest rated team going into the competition. I think they're
Yeah,
like 16th in the world.
yeah, without a doubt, they're probably far and away the best. I'd have to imagine South Korea is like mid 30s.
I think Qatar would probably be close to,
Really,
and they're probably in the 60s. Like I think they might be like third or fourth closest. You can look it up.
I'm looking it up
I
right
don't
now.
really know.
So yeah, Japan 17,
I said
Iran
16.
21,
Damn. Okay. Attaboy, Iran. Good for
and then
them.
South Korea 23, and
Oh, I
then
was wrong.
Qatar down in 58. But really, these rankings kind of take a nosedive after like 10th place, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Iran's been pretty consistently 21 though. Just so you know, they were 24 in April of 23. They were 20 in October of 22. Yeah, they've pretty much consistently been around the 20s though in the
so
last
yeah, they're
year.
good. They're a good squad, and Mehdi Taremi's there. A few other guys, Asmoon. But yeah,
There's a lot of Asian nations I didn't even know. I just thought they all made it to the cup. Like Guam in 205th, no fucking clue.
yeah, of course, of course. I think there's one team that like New Zealand didn't make it. A few others. You'd think like a massive nation like the Philippines would be all right, or like India, but they're obviously not the greatest.
Yeah, India
Anyway,
sucks.
yeah,
Well, and just to put it in perspective about, you know, these cup competitions, Morocco, and just to AFCON, Morocco is number one in AFCON, eliminated. Senegal is number two in AFCON, eliminated. Tunisia is number three in AFCON, eliminated. Algeria is number four in AFCON, eliminated. Egypt's number five in AFCON, eliminated. Nigeria is six, they're still in it. Cameroon seven, eliminated. Ivory Coast is eight, still in it. Mali's 9, eliminated. Burkina Faso, 10, eliminated. Ghana, 11, eliminated. So, just goes to show that, in these tournaments, nothing really fucking matters.
yeah,
Um, South Africa is 66, Congo is 67, so, there come the other two teams, but in the world. So, they're still decent, but within their continent, they're still pretty low in the
right,
sense of, like, making it to the semifinals. So,
yeah, and the FIFA rankings also aren't really that good. Um,
no, they haven't been in a long time.
like I I think it's pretty tragic. USA is number 12.
I
Um,
also don't know why Argentina is number one, or Belgium's four, or England's three.
I think France has been the best team in the
France
world for a
for
long
like 10
time.
years. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
And Belgium hasn't been good in ever. The Netherlands is 6, like Portugal 7, Croatia's 10,
I know.
like I feel like Uruguay should be a little higher. They're 11. Like I think most teams above them, they're better than.
Yeah,
Colombia's 14.
I know. It's a really strange ranking. You have a team like Norway down at 44. Anyways. Um,
We're getting into the weeds here, and we're
yeah.
just like, man, we're tired.
I I've said all I need to say. Um, you should go follow us on TikTok and Twitter. Subscribe on the YouTube channel. Drop a like. I already said subscribe, but do it
Say
twice.
twice. Yeah,
Yeah,
get on both accounts. I know.
yeah,
I know you got more than one. Don't lie to me.
yeah. But
You all
yeah,
do. You got like 6 different Gmails. I know. Just connect them all.
everyone
They're already
does.
there.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, it was a pleasure.
Always. Catch you
And
guys Thursday.
yes, we'll be Thursday with a UCL preview, predictions, the whole thing. And yeah, see you later.
Peace.
Peace.